Thank you, Hope. That's great. So hi and welcome to Positive Passionate Women in Business, to the Hello You interview series. So the reason I started this is so that we can get to know the members of our huddle a little better and know not just what you do, but why you do it and how you got to be doing it in the first place, and what you do outside of that you really love, that makes you you. So thank you so much for joining me for 15 questions in 15 minutes. And I'd just like to let everyone know that this is Hope Evans, and Hope is the owner and founder of Simply Ethical Advice. So hi and welcome, Hope. Are you ready for me to get straight in and go for the first question?
Yes, dive in.
Awesome. All right, great. So number one is, tell me something about yourself that others may be surprised to know about you.
Oh, it's a really hard question. I'm a pretty open book with most people. I don't know.
Well, there's one thing that you have a 2-year-old.
Yeah. Is that a surprise though?
Yes, because often people just know you in business and don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And then when you said before about cloth nappies, and I was like, yes, because I was totally on that bandwagon. And, you know, there's not that many of us that are. So I think those are surprising things. So that maybe tells me that the things about your business that we'll hear about soon, about ethical and sustainable and all of that, probably or possibly carry through into your personal life.
Definitely. Well, that's why I'm in my business, is because my personal life wasn't sitting comfortable with my current job as a mainstream advisor or in mainstream financial advice. So selling investments that included things such as fossil fuels and weapons. It was really challenging for my own values. And so I sought to find something that would fit both my values and a good business for myself.
That's so fascinating, isn't it? So I used to work in film many, many, many years ago. I had a film production business and stuff. And the last commercial that I did was up in Brisbane. And it was in a supermarket. We filmed from 10 at night till 6 in the morning because they had to shut the supermarket so we could film. And it was for a bleach or brand of bleach. And so we filmed the whole night in a cleaning products aisle. Now, for starters, I hadn't used those kind of cleaning products in years anyway. By midnight, I had the most thumping, roaring headache, the bright lights, the whole thing. Like, I was just used to shopping at farmers market and stuff. So it was such a challenge. And that was the turning point for me, just to go, I just can't be in this industry anymore. If I can't choose the type of jobs that I take on, which at that point I couldn't. And I was like, then this isn't for me anymore.
Definitely.
It was too much. So I totally get what you're saying with, you know, you just need to move in another direction sometimes when it doesn't sit right.
Yes.
So if there was something in your past that you were able to go back and do differently, what would that be?
Probably I just wish I had a little bit more career guidance from the start. And probably that. And I don't know. It's hard to say that you do much differently, because then you wouldn't be where you are today.
And what do you think career guidance would look like? Do you reckon that needed to come at school or up?
I think just to have some sort of understanding of what my strengths were, and what my real interests were, because I feel like teachers have a big influence on whether or not you like a subject, and that doesn't necessarily, you know, so I stopped studying earth and environmental science in high school. That was a subject I dropped because I found the teacher really challenging to learn from. And had that been different, I could have been in a total different career. Obviously, probably still something sustainable or environmental, but it could have been a very different outcome. And then also just knowing, I guess, you know, I'm in my 30s now, and I'm like, you know more what your strengths are, and you watch yourself. My brain's a bit slower now, and I was really like quick and fast, and when I was young, and I probably could have done. I don't know. I just sort of thought I was a little bit wasted in some of the jobs that I did.
I hear, but they all led you to where you are now.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
I think that's and my daughter's in year 11, so it's something that I do think about, is that whole guidance, and she's known what she's wanted to do for years.
Mm.
And so she's a different kettle of fish, but certainly I think how we are shaped is exactly what you've said. But yeah, like at my school, we didn't have guidance counselors or careers advisors or any of that. So I've done quite a few things in coaching over the years where you do like the DISC model and other kind of models for working out your personality and what it kind of, where those strengths could, and I'm thinking, wouldn't that have been good in our teams?
Well, I mean, it even makes sense to think about that from an economic position for the whole community, like when we're talking to children and teenagers and say, this is the type of role that you would really suit you, suit your personality, suit the way you think. And then also talking about what do you want to do and what areas interest you and trying to find some overlap there. Because I just feel like it'd be more efficient.
I agree. And so often, like whether you're an extrovert and they'll say, oh, you know, you shouldn't do that. Or if you're an introvert, oh, you shouldn't do that. Or if you're an extroverted introvert or whatever. And instead of embracing all those things and saying, because of that glorious part of your personality, then you could be wonderful in these types of areas rather than trying to shove you into a little box, maybe. Yeah, I love the idea of exploring that a little bit further about the guidance. I like that, Hope. I like that indeed. Okay, so tell me, what do you love most about what you do for your business? Tell us all about it.
I guess that it's doing positive things for the world, and when I'm getting like dredged down in admin, which I'm terrible at, and I'm like, this is taking hours to fill out application forms, is just actually the real solutions that that we're investing in they're just really exciting. And so COVID has been a really interesting time for us in that ethical investments have done exceptionally well through this time, and they've been doing well for a long time, but we've done particularly well in our portfolios through COVID because when our stocks are more defensive in nature, so they're not, I guess the market doesn't hit them as badly. We're also invested a lot in healthcare, but then also now we're talking about looking at how the investments of the future are going to be and how we can help invest in this time and help then, I guess, finding solutions for problems that are occurring in this time. So a lot of that is in healthcare, but also in technology and I guess like Zoom and things like that, those sorts of technologies. So the solutions-based stuff is really exciting, and the impact investment, which is, I guess, the investment is for a social or environmental outcome that's also making a financial return. So yeah, that's really exciting. And
so Hope, what does that look like working with you? So for example, it's your business, is that right?
Yeah.
And so just sort of walk me through how that would work. For me as a potential client or customer, whatever you call them, would that be that I would think, I'd really like to move super, or I'd really like to think about investments for my future? Is that the kind of client where you'd start?
Yeah, so most clients, so I don't work with clients that don't want to invest ethically because it's just not, it's just, I could do it. It just would be a lot of work. I'm not up to, like what's happening in that space so much. Like we're in that space, but the investments to choose, and I'd have some idea. It's just, it would be a lot more work than what I'm up with.
For sure.
So usually clients contact me. Advertising really hasn't worked unless they've found there is a video of me on YouTube or something now people have watched and then contacted me, which I'm like, oh, that's the bouncing chair one. Great. No, so a client will contact me and then we will have a discussion around what it is you're looking for, usually on the phone, and then we'll send you this massive form to fill out about yourself and all your financial situation. And you complete that. Luckily, you only have to complete it once, and then you send it back, and I'll basically go through and we'll meet again, and we'll talk about your situation and what sort of strategies we can put in place, and then investing ethically. So there's a lot of greenwashing in my industry, which I think there is in every industry.
What does that mean?
What it means is that there's lots of investments and super funds that say they use the word eco or ethical, and there's no standard to rule against. You can anyone can use it, and there's nothing, they don't, and they often will just take one investment out out of, 100 investments. So they're still investing in fossil fuels. And I mean, there's a few basic things that we consider as ethical advisors that need to be met. And that's like fossil fuel investments are really, they need to be fossil fuel free. So we've started a website which is free for people to look at that compares the ethics of super funds. And it's the greenleaf.org, I think it is.
Wow. Let me just write this down. I'll add that into the
I should have had this ready. Greenleaf Ethical Fund Rating. Greenleaf rate. It's leafratings.org. Sorry,
leafratings.org.
And so as a group of, the Ethical Advisors Cooperative is a group of, I think, 31 practices around the country. And we are not-for-profit, and we get together and we do lots of things. But one of the things, in order to combat this greenwashing, is we've rated the top super funds, and more are getting put on all the time. And you can click in and you can see why we've rated it like that, and what the reasoning is behind it. And so they get, I guess, out of 5 green leaves. So most of them on there, there's one that's 3.5 stars, one that's 4, and one that's 4.5, and every other super fund is only 2 leaves. So from that, you can pretty much gather that their ethical options are really unethical.
Wow, it's amazing, isn't it? It's like there's an app for, I used to have a business in kind of I designed things and then got them manufactured fair trade. But I would talk with people a lot at trade shows when I was exhibiting, and they'd say, oh, why would I need to do fair trade? Like, what's the point of that? And I'm like, I'm literally thinking, where do we even start here? But
you don't mind the children are picking your coffee beans?
Yes. And sleeping beside their sewing machines overnight and all of that. But then they came out with this app quite a few years ago now, and I can't remember the name, but it was great because it even told you if you wanted to shop at Kmart or whatever, it would tell you whether Kmart, Target or Big W was a better option ethically, and stuff. So I thought it was a really good idea because, not everybody has the money necessarily or the means to just buy 100% fair trade clothing.
All the time, all the know-how.
Choices. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I think for all of us, it's just about getting the knowledge of how to do it better, really.
That's
awesome.
Right, yeah.
So I love that you're part of that. I'll definitely put that in the caption of this post so that people can go and find that. Thanks, Hope. That's cool. So tell me now, what do you love least about what you do with your
Probably
business?
Just like admin and just being on my computer and just sometimes my own self-confidence, it's like being a one-man band sometimes can be a bit like you don't really have much to bounce off, or I don't know, like not sure if you're doing good enough. And
yeah, I hear you. And probably being part of that collaboration that you are is probably a great thing.
It's for that fabulous. For that reason. I'm also part of my licensee is Ethical Investment Advisors in Brisbane. So I've been lovingly and luckily mentored by them and guided and supported for the last 6 years. So that's been really, I've been so lucky I wouldn't have been able to do it without them. So that's been really lucky. Yeah, and awesome. They're part of the co-op and I'm part of them. Yeah.
And where are you currently based?
I'm based, I've got an office in Tyagra and I live in Suffolk, but I meet clients all over, and then also I have probably a third of my clients aren't even from this area, so I've got a lot of clients from all over the country,
Wonderful. And would you be able to work with people that were outside of the country?
No, so we can't, this has actually just changed recently. We can't, I can't give advice to someone while they're overseas. So if you live here and work overseas but you come back enough to give advice, then I could. But if you're overseas all the time, no, we cannot. And we can't give advice on, so we invest in international investments, but based in the investment is based in Australia, and then they invest overseas for us. So it's, yeah.
Wow, interesting. So, Hope, if you weren't doing this, what would you be doing instead, do you think?
Oh, I don't know. I think I was like environmental engineering maybe, or something. Yeah, but then I think, oh, that would be. I haven't done it, so I don't know what. Yeah.
Who knows, right?
Yeah.
But definitely, it sounds like definitely down the environmental path, which is
I'm very passionate about the environment.
cool. So, what's been your biggest success in your working life? What are you feeling the most proud of that you've done so far?
Probably the business, but I was also probably my master's was a pretty big thing, which was also really fun. But that was a while ago. So probably just the business, and then having success while having a 2-year-old. I'm also very supported. Like my mum comes 3 mornings a week to have him, and my partner works in my parents' business. So there's a lot. We're very lucky, and like there's a lot of flexibility. Yeah, and he's about to start daycare next week.
Oh, that is a massive, massive step, isn't it? My word. Well, this morning, my daughter drove herself to school for the first time. She just got her P plates at the end of last week. And as she drove off, I literally felt sick. So I'm thinking, I totally remember the whole starting daycare and all that. Every one of those milestones is such a big moment. My goodness.
Oh.
So all I can say to you is there's a lot more of those to come.
Yeah, and I'm just mindful of me being calm and accepting, so that he's calm and accepting.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, it's a funny business, isn't it? This parenting gig. That's for sure. Okay, so who are your dream clients, and what kind of jobs do you like doing with them the most? Do you like the client that comes to you and says, I don't know anything except that I only want to invest money ethically? Where do I begin? Are they your favorites?
This is a really hard question for me, because my dream client, like I've got a lot of clients are women. Women generally want to invest ethically more than men do. It's just
that's interesting.
Yeah, and I guess so. I do have sort of a niche in working with women, but I guess the main thing is like trust. So there needs to be, some clients don't want to trust you, or it's too hard, so then it doesn't really work. And I can understand, it's your money and it's your livelihood and it's everything. But it'd be amazing to be able to help people because I guess I can add a lot of value to anyone's situation, or a lot of people's situation, but they just can't afford the advice. So my dream client is obviously someone that's very trusting and wealthy and wants to invest ethically and listen to my advice. Whereas,
I think that sounds wonderful. Trusting, wealthy, open to listening.
Yeah. Whereas I get contacted a lot by younger people, and they're like, oh, I've got $10,000 I want to invest. And I'm like, look, I'm going to send you some information. This is not advice. I can't give you advice because the fee I have to charge you for $10,000 just isn't enough. But follow these links and do a bit of reading yourself. Yeah.
Cool.
So, yeah.
I love it. So what challenges do you see impacting your industry? Now, that's not necessarily with regards to COVID or whatever it could be, though, if you want it to be, but just in general, what are the challenges in your industry?
There's robo-advice is coming. It's coming.
Did you just say robo-advice?
Robo-advice, so computer advice. So algorithms giving financial advice. So it's a challenge, but it's also exciting because it's going to be it's very useful. We're already using it in a lot of our software, so that's great. But just to see how it unfolds. The thing I find the hardest and the biggest thing is that the legislation changes around superannuation all the time and around advisors. So we've just had the FASIA legislation, and before that we had the FOFA legislation. These are all acronyms for big long things.
It's like I haven't heard
and it's like I know, but every couple of years we've got to change the way we're doing stuff and generally it's usually because the big banks are getting in trouble for behaving poorly, which has been atrocious, some of the things that have come out of there. But us ethical advisors that do the right thing or beyond the right thing, we have to change. Yeah, it's just, that's challenging. It's challenging as an advisor. You finally get your system in place, and then boom, you've got to change everything again. And everyone's sitting exams, so we've just all sat another big exam, like we call it the bar exam, but it's not that hard, I don't think. I passed, so that's good.
Well done. So is that
the
a
other
thing
thing
that you have to keep training and keep?
Which is, no, that's fine. It's just I mean, I understand to keep training, but it's just they keep changing things. So we've got 3 different pieces of either legislation and 2 bodies that we need to abide by, and they all have different standards for the same thing. So we obviously have to go to whichever one is the most strongest, but it's like, so I think at the moment they're trying to put together a single body for us, which is going to be fabulous. But at the moment it's just mayhem, and it's just been rolled out pretty poorly.
Whoa. And would you say, sorry, go.
No, you go. Well, the other thing that's interesting is that ethical investment is now trendy. So it's becoming more mainstream. So I guess that I see that as, I'm a niche advisor in that area. And now, because of legislation as well, mainstream advisors are being forced to ask the questions about ethical investment more. So they're being forced, I guess, either to refer to an ethical advisor or to be able to provide that advice themselves, which is quite challenging at the moment. But I see in the next at least 20 years' time, there should be more mainstream across the board. Yeah. So that's kind of a threat to my niche, yeah?
Yeah. Gosh, that's interesting. Yeah. So what did you want to be when you grew up?
When I grow up?
When you were a little person, what did you want to be when you grew up? When you were a little person, what did you want to be?
I wanted to be a lawyer.
Ah. Well, different industry.
Study law.
Yeah.
Hey? It was just so boring. I couldn't. I was 18 and 19. I just couldn't. I just was like, this is so boring.
So did you how long did you do law for before you transferred?
I think I did about a year, and then I got really sick, and I took some time off, and then came back, and I changed to a double, and then I was like, business is so exciting, bam, 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 law, and I just dropped the law and just did a business degree.
Right, so, that's amazing. And then what was your master's in?
Sustainable development.
Right.
That Bond, that was absolutely amazing. It was so good. It was,
Did you say at Bond?
Yeah, Bond Uni.
Is that what you did, the other degree in the same place?
No, I did a Bachelor of International Business at Griffith first, and then, later did the master's.
Busy girl. So if you were an animal, what animal would you like to be?
Oh, probably a dolphin.
Oh, the person that I interviewed earlier today said the exact same thing.
I know. I mean, or a bird, but could we be a mystical creature like a fairy or a mermaid?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not, I say? Could be a dragon. A friendly one. That would be lovely. Yeah. So we interviewed earlier Brianna, who owns Ballina Swim School, and of course when she said dolphin, I was like, oh, of course you want to be a beautiful creature, frolicking and playing in the water. That's lovely. Very good. Okay, so if you were a movie character, which character would you be in what movie?
Oh, wow. What movie? Oh my God, I can't even think. Oh, do you know what my favourite movie used to be? Is what's it called? The Fifth Element.
Never heard of it or seen it.
Oh, it's got Bruce Willis in it, and what's her name? And she's it's really old now. We rewatched it not long ago, and I was like, oh my God, that is such bad cinematography or whatever. Like,
it down to
Mila Jovovich.
Oh. Well, there you go. I'm putting it down for an idea to watch. Very good. Thank you. And so which is the character that you'd want to be?
Her name is, what's her name? Is a girl in it. what's her name? I can't think. Lilu.
Oh, interesting. Very good. Okay, so Hope, if you could live anywhere in the world, where would you want to be?
Well, anywhere, right here.
Beautiful.
We came back about 6 years ago to start the business and be here with the family, and yeah, because I grew up in Byron.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
gorgeous. I'm so glad to hear that you came back, because my daughter's got very little interest in living here when she finishes uni, and I'm kind of like, oh, I hope you'd come back one day. So it's nice. Hope gives me hope.
Yeah. Lots of us, a lot of us came back around the same time that I knew.
Wow.
Yeah.
So have a good stint away, seeing some of the world, and then pop back.
Well, I think it depends on what you grow up with as well. Like I grew up like being able to walk to the beach, and so then when we were in Brisbane, I was so unhappy, and I didn't realise, because living on the Gold Coast, it was fine. Right, we always lived walking distance to the beach, and then when we went to Brisbane after that, I realised when I got home it was the beach, that the distance from the beach, that was So she'll go through stages as well like that, and she'll want what she's what she's grown up with.
Let's hope. One day. I do want her to go and explore, so.
Yeah.
You
mean Australia or New South Wales?
Maybe the Northern Rivers.
Yeah. Sorry, honey, you have to stay at home and do your degree online.
That's right. Okay, so
we're going to make a future husband online.
She actually would do her degree online. I'm not kidding. She's been absolutely loving the online home learning. She has nailed it. Some
kids have really thrived in it.
Yeah. She's already doing 2 of her year 11 papers online, because they weren't offering them at her school. So she's already kind of in that vibe anyway. But
yeah, that's lucky.
So today was her first day back in 4 and a bit months. So, yeah, she said she enjoyed it a lot, but there was a lot of people trying to hug, and, we're still trying as much as we can to self-isolate. So it's quite full on. But, okay, so this is question number 13. We've got 2 more to go after this one. So what does being a positive and passionate woman in business mean to you?
Turning my thinking around to be positive is good. And like, sometimes I think, just reminding myself of that I have achieved things, that I am doing well, and that, I guess everyone beats themselves up as a mum, but actually I am a good mum, and, so trying to keep that positivity is important. And self-care is important. And setting goals, I think, is important too.
Absolutely. I completely agree. That's for sure. And I think as mums, particularly with a younger child, that you can so easily fall into that trap of feeling like when you're working too much, you're not doing enough mothering, and when you're mothering, you're not doing enough work, and it's really complicated, isn't it?
It is. You're like, I'm just failing at everything.
And of course you're not. You're doing an extraordinary job, running a business and being a mum. Amazing. Good on you, Hope. It's amazing. So what are you most proud of in your life?
Wow. Oh, I don't know. I'm proud of my boy. He's pretty he's really clever. He's talking really well, and he's very kind, cool. And
it's a trip, isn't it? It is such a trip.
Yeah.
Having a little person. Yeah, amazing. And sorry, go ahead.
I'm also really proud of my parents and their business. Their business is going really well. So that's their business is Australia's Manuka, so they're beekeepers.
Oh, wow. Amazing. Crikey. That is definitely a business to be proud of.
Yeah.
On the weekend, we went to Tropical Fruit World, and they were doing a lot of talks about the importance of bees and, all of that. So I think it was great. I can't remember how many. It was definitely when my daughter was little that the bee movie came out, and it was kind of the first bit of mainstream talking about the importance of bees.
So wrong though, because male bees do not do any work. Oh, it makes me wild. all they do is, excuse the French, is have sex. That's their only purpose. And it's only like they only have sex on one day with the queen. She has sex with heaps of male bees all at once on one day, which everyone can catch her. And then she goes into the nest, and all she does for the rest of her life is lay their eggs. It's a horrible, horrible existence for her.
Oh, she might really like that.
And all the worker bees that look after the brood and the babies and the queen and the hive and collect the nectar and everything, they're all females.
Wow. And they never get to have the babies.
So that bee movie is just wrong.
The good thing is it was giving us awareness and insight into the importance of bees. But now that you've said that, I feel like I need to go watch it again. Oh, that's fantastic. I just learned something new. Thank you very much. That's awesome. I've learned quite a few new things tonight. Thank you. So the final question is, what's one tip that you can share of how you stay positive when things are challenging?
Going outside and into nature is really important, I find. I actually read the other day that spatial stuff is really important for people with young children. If they're not in a nice space, it impacts them worse than it does like another person. And I'm like, wow, that's our house. That's why I'm so inside. So yeah, I mean, summer is the best. Spring and autumn, like when we go to the beach every day.
Wow.
And so just getting outside, I think, and exercising regularly, and eating good food. I mean, I love wine, but we're currently doing 100 days no alcohol, so that's boring.
Oh, really? You're taking Dry July to a whole new level. What day are you up to?
30 maybe. It's more my partner doing it. So I did have a couple of wines on the weekend with my brother, but.
Well done. Good for you for knowing what you need, and also for supporting your partner. Yeah. That's super awesome. Good on you, Hope. Well, thank you so much for joining me on this little 15 questions in 15 minutes adventure for the Hello You interview series. And thank you for being part of the Positive Passionate Women in Business Huddle, because it's super awesome to have you here.
Yeah, thanks.
And that was super interesting. I learned so much. So I look forward to round 2 of our questions when I'm coming up with a whole new bunch. So it's not going to happen probably for quite a few months yet, but I look forward to speaking to you again. But of course, I'll be seeing you in our online meetups.
Yeah, well, thanks for organising everything.
Oh, no, I love it. It's awesome. So thanks, Hope. You have a great night. And we didn't get a visit from Arlo.
Yeah, do you want me to get him?
Yes, go on.
Are you all messy, Mama?
I see a bee in behind. Oh, little Arlo, who's 2.
Oh, he's got his book.
Oh.
He's just... Hi.
Hello, Mr. Arlo. Hello. What's your book?
You got your book. He's got his construction book, which is a puzzle book. He loves it.
Diggers and things, and a puzzle.
Yeah. Puzzle book.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Is it your favourite book?
You can show her the inside. You can say, what's that one? What's that one?
What's that?
That. Yeah, what is it? A digger.
Digger.
You are fantastic, little chatter. Good on you, Arlo. That's lovely.
Digger, yeah.
Is there another one that you want to show me?
I want to show you. What's this one? Bulldozer.
Oh, wow. A big red bulldozer. Wow. And is there a truck?
You got this one? What's this one? Oh, what's this picture?
What's that one?
No, you've got to put that one back together, don't you?
What's that one?
That over there. What's
What's
this one?
that picture?
Truck, yeah.
Gorgeous. Oh, well, Arlo, that has been a treat to have you read us that about the truck and the bulldozer and the
He wants to put the bits on.
Oh, cool.
All right. Should we say bye?
Into the book. That's fun and clever. Well, Arlo, give me a big wave. Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you. Nice to meet you, Arlo, and great to get you home. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for having me.
All right.
See
Bye.
you soon. Bye.
Oh, I forgot to say to everybody that wants to connect with Hope. Gorgeous. All of Hope's contact details are on the top of the caption. Thanks, Hope. Bye, Arlo.
Bye.